Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So BTC getting a little bit of a pullback, but consolidation in this ascending channel manner, up in this 0.5 to the 618 of the diagonal pitch fan. We've had price action in since January. Can we continue to the upside, or are we going to get a little bit of a Bart Simpson retrace down into the vector candles below? Let's go ahead and take a look at high block. What is high block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss. So we get to see where those crispy characters lie in wait. So let's do it now. So on the 1 minute time frame, so we were starting to get a little bit of a push down the other day. They retraced back into some of these 50xers we were talking about coming back, but they did not come to that 35,467 $274 million pool just yet. And we've been pinging around, grabbing pools on both sides, back and forth, essentially going sideways. And this is what patterns are, is just an induction of liquidity into the charts and getting to that equilibrium point of control where they control both sides, and then they can gauge which side it looks the juiciest and then shoot up. In this case, the shorts are imbalanced to the tune of $2.5 billion to the upside. So coming to this 35,828 level on the 1 minute time frame looks to be the case, but we need to expand our vision to the higher time frame pools in order to see other liquidity zones. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Max liquidity. So on the 7-day time frame, a lot of the imbalances to the downside at the 34K region, starting to build a little bit of a narrative of some sweep up to that high zone if they were so inclined to do so. But the overall draw to the 34K region is heavier on the 7-day. If we go ahead and expand our vision to the monthly, what's up, CNC? So if we expand our vision to the monthly time frame, the monthly time frame is also starting to get that pull to the downside in terms of liquidity draw, but they're also inducing some up above. So the 37K region, where people think they are safe, they are building some liquidity zones up in there at the 37.8 region. And below, let's see, at the 36,100 region, if we expand to the 3-month, 3-month does have a draw to that 34K region, 14 billion down in this region, as well as double digits below at 33. Not as much up in that 36K region, starting to build double digits up at that 37.8 that it could come up to at some point on the 3-month. If we zoom in to just where we're at right now, there is that 36.3 draw to that 62 billion on the 6-month. And lastly, going to the 2-year. At that 36.4 region, 135 billion. Do they sweep the entire region before they peel out? No one knows. Sometimes they leave it alone, as we've been saying. They leave some liquidity alone before they decide to flip it. Flip it good. So let's go back to the monthly here. The monthly draw ambiguous, but ultimately a draw to the downside in terms of weight of liquidity below. Let's go ahead into the Binance chart and what we were looking at from yesterday. So there was a little bit of ambiguousness. We were waiting for a retrace and a possible holding of the cloud. They did not hold the cloud. We were talking back here at this stab up that we were possibly coming down and looking to see the 15-minute reset and then possibly catching that bounce out. Now it did not hold in the Asian session, and the London session started to send it back up, and New York just essentially went sideways. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we were seeing on that momentum. Link is in the description for more. momentummaster.info. Scroll down to features, toggle everything at your leisure, and or toggle switch each component and read about it, like the trend cloud, the stochastic array, the baselines, and so on and so forth. So we were talking about this 15-minute reset last live and how we would need to have hold this cloud in order for any type of upside to begin, and we were seeing which cloud was pointed to the downside and curving here. This was the hourly. We were saying the hourly needs to hold. The curvature is insinuating a kind of reversal, so you were getting some ambiguous feelings with that, but also the 15-minute was coming down to reset. So we were saying, what is this hold on the hourly time frame? Now let's just remove this and start to reassess the situation. Okay, so you're basically you're ping-ponging between overbought and oversold on lower time frames and these higher time frames, trying to reset. If we go to the daily and make our daily descent through the time frames, we can go through and assess each one. So first, let's remove this. Actually, I think that's one pool we have yet to recover. So yeah, so let's leave that there. Okay, so the daily time frame, you have this cross down event of the baselines. We're outside of the channel, possibly coming back to retest the channel at some point. Makes sense, the angle and tapering of the trend cloud here pointing to a little bit closer to 3 o'clock than 2 o'clock, insisting that it wants to kind of come down and sweep this low and sweep up some of that long liquidity. If we go to the money flow and the RSI, we previously had some bearish divergence that played out. It kind of reset the stochastic on this. We were meandering around the possibility of crossing the Williams threshold and then dumping out for that last little bit on the daily. I would be careful longing a daily reset with the Williams that high without crossing down at least once. 22 also ambiguously giving the insinuation to go up, while at the same time holding the trapdoor of the Williams suppression to the downside. What do I mean by that Williams suppression? Well, when you get these takeoffs that don't happen, like back here, where you're oversold on the stochastic RSI, but the Williams is still looking to come down, it does. And if we zoom in there, we can see it. It basically just continues to come and suppress that stochastic from takeoff until you get oversold on the Williams as well. So this is why you have an alarm cross here letting you know, be careful. And same here, we're starting to go up, but at the same time the Williams giving ambiguous signals alongside the MACD possibly continuing lower. So the YouTubers that were pointing out for 40K are now sending out things saying look out below. So their bipolar thumbnails reflect their TA and how inconsistent it flip-flops and flops and gropes around. So the 22-hour time frame is starting to come down a little bit further. here perhaps coming to sweep this low. If we go to the 12-hour here, the 12-hour also insinuating that it wants to get suppressed by this Williams. 12-hour cross down event also inbound. Looking at the 6-hour. Now the 6-hour has been holding this cloud, surprisingly so, the entire time, which is why we were talking about possibly coming back to that hourly cloud, holding it and sending it. Now we are on Tuesday, November 7th. This is the move for the week. False move Monday is over, so maybe there is an expansion in a direction today and tomorrow. So which direction will that be? Will we go up till Thursday and then take it down, or are we going down and then take it back up on Thursday? Tuesday and Wednesday are generally the move for the week. We're starting to get that slow drift of the slow acting subtle support of the 6-hour. If we watch how this ensues on the what's up, CNC? If we look at how this is on the 4-hour time frame, the 4-hour time frame also ambiguously rising and falling, slowly getting overbought on the Williams without really going anywhere, slowly drifting up in the price of the cloud as well, just holding that cloud on its merry way to the upside, ultimately drifting higher each time, making higher lows and higher highs. We came back into this fair value gap here yesterday into the live and reclaimed that gap, came back down, and we're basically back to where we started from yesterday, back above the cloud. The angle in which the cloud is pointing to 3 o'clock here, and this curvature I'm not really feeling so much. So even though we have taken back the cloud on the hourly, this angle is insinuating it could go to the downside. So right now, just off the bat, the thinning and the sideways nature of the hourly and this curvature suggests that you could go down. Now the same angle did occur here, and then we shot it up, and we were there for that upside potential as well. I remember calling that possibility of going up there. So as long as you hold this cloud and you maintain it, this is where you can see that magic happen at the cloud. Just putting both sides of the narrative out there, because you got to be aware and be careful. But the cloud on your side on these higher time frames insinuates that it's not finished with the squeeze to the shorts. The 4 and the 6-hour cloud, as well as the 12-hour angle here, still not abating on the 12-hour. If we go to the daily starting to taper ever so slight, but we could get that surge up to that 36.2 region on the daily double top idea. So the 4, the 6, the 12 cloud are in your favor here to possibly support that curvature from dropping on the hourly. Starting to close out in an hour's time for the daily candle close. Do we close out strong above this cloud or not? We're basically back to square one from where we were yesterday. It was as if yesterday never happened. We did have a bunch of stop loss wick-wack to both sides. This is one of those seek and destroy days. False move Monday is not called that without a reason, and they went and hit both sides there. If we look back to yesterday, so they went back and they pinged. Wait, was that yesterday? I don't know. That was before the live. That was as we were going live. So they wicked and whacked it, and then they went sideways. So this was the weekend. And yeah, we're just essentially going sideways to range, trading the range, and we're in the middle, smack dab in the middle of the range right now. If we take this and we do like a point of control, we're right there as we speak. Is this like a distribution phase? And they have a bigger player that they're going to draw up to and distribute on. could be the case as we reach into November, the middle of November. So essentially sideways, not really giving a clear picture of where it insinuates it wants to go. Both sides getting overbought and oversold, and just getting in that range bound structure. If we go into the dominance dropping as it allows the alts to play ball, and the alts seeing some rally here. If we go to the crypto bubbles, alt rally inbound. So we've seen all of the alts take off as Bitcoin goes sideways, which is par for the course for what Bitcoin does. If you look at what those Bitcoin dominance is about, the Bitcoin dominance decreases and BTC is stable, then the alts increase. So you have this Bitcoin dominance cycle to look at. So having the dominance drop as per this Bitcoin dominance chart, and then seeing the Bitcoin go sideways, shows that the USDT will be flowing into the alts, and we're getting a bit of a rocket ship on the USDT dominance, saying that it's overextended on the USDT in trades, so at some point putting them back in line by coming up a little bit, similar to here where it shot up, but essentially maintaining this bearish trend-based fib. And by dominance of the USDT dominance going down, this is insinuating that people are putting the money USDT into trades. So we're getting a little bit of a rejection off the cloud. This is basically a insertion of the USDT into trades, the Bitcoin dominance dropping as the alts get that rally. And so total 3 getting a little bit of this overbought status across the time frames after this rock to nuke idea took off from Friday, October 13th. So the alts getting a little bit of a rally here. Looking at Dixie continuing on its way of dropping out of the channel and bearishly retesting to possibly sweep some of these regions, these breaker order blocks down below. As Bitcoin essentially goes sideways. So the alts will take their profits most likely and then reinsert it back into Bitcoin, since it is holding this cloud in this healthy manner. So seeing this, the alts take off, the people trimming their profits here from BTC are playing ball with them on other trades in the alt game. So those profits will flow back into Bitcoin when need be, and will surge back up on the dominance and come back possibly to this region at some stage. So this 4-hour and 6-hour cloud still healthy until we start to break it. The hourly cloud, the only worrying thing here, but as of this moment in time we are holding the cloud. This was the thing we were looking at from yesterday, which we broke down at here, but came back and reclaimed the cloud. So are we still on course to hit these pools up above? We still are, with the Bitcoin dominance dropping and the alts rallying. The profits from the alts that people trim off and insert and buy Bitcoin with could be that little bit of gusto to the shorts to also allow some bigger player to exit up here on some liquidity. We have some 50xers still up in that 35,467 region of 50x shorts. Also the 25x brethren up at 35,828 to come back to, and that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you have nothing for me to look at, I shall bid you adieu, and that shall be it for today. Once again, watch out for that fading and curvature of the cloud here on the hourly. It could curve up here and continue, or curve back down. One thing in its favor is the 6, the 12, and the 4-hour clouds still pointing healthily to the upside, and we've been claiming each time we hit them. All right, ladies and gents, thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff.